mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. 1 chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
The plot twist of all plot twists, the cliffhangers of cliffhangers amongst. If you were to ask me 3 months ago, right? Hell, if you were to even ask me fresh after the Mangekyo Sharingan Awakening, Sarada versus Daemon, I would say 1, it's not gonna happen, and 2, more than likely Daemon, right? Because he is the strongest person in the verse right now. But Ikimoto loves to throw curveballs, and Ikimoto loves to say, above all else, right? Black Uchiha, you're wrong. So we actually have cliffhanger, Boruto chapter 26, my guy Daemon versus Sarada. Now y'all know, as a release of my last few videos, I'll say this. Y'all know how I think it's gonna go down. I think Ada more than likely will call it off. We might get some dialogue between the two. Might be a little bit of animosity, a little bit more dialogue from Daemon, probably some from Sarada. But all in all, the one who's going to call this off is going to be Ada. She's going to be like, chill. I actually want Sarada and Sumire to be my real friends. It's going to be smooth. And then also, we might even get another curveball, because like I said, Ikimoto just love to say, Black Uchiha, you're wrong. Sumire might be the one to settle the situation. How? I don't know. But it just seems like something Ikimoto would want to do, right? But we have it at the end of Boruto chapter 26. Daemon has finally made a move against a character, and no, it is not Himawari being controlled by Kurama. No, it is not Boruto, full karma sealed out. No, it's not Kawaki, who tried to crash out on Ada. No, it's not Mamushi, who tried to ship Ada across to his private island. And no, it is not Jura, the guy who dog walks both Kawaki and Boruto, similar to how Daemon has done so in the past. It is Big Sarada, the queen of the Uchiha clan herself, the heiress, the one and only Sarada Uchiha. She is the one who has garnered Daemon's attention. Now, granted, not solely because due to the fact that Daemon saw her ability, noticed her ability, or sensed some type of hidden power as we've known him to do in the past, right? But simply because the lie has finally been exposed. Ada has finally set the bait and reeled both Sarada and Sumire in one fell swoop. And this has been stirring up and bubbling up, honestly, since the beginning chapters of TBV, when Ada was very, very, very confused, and Daemon was watchful in the terms of, why are Sarada and Sumire able to retain their memories of Boruto and Kawaki's original life, yet somehow claim to still be solely and truly in love with her? Well, the cat's out the bag, right? Because Ada tried to get him one time 3 years ago. It didn't work. And now we see this time it's finally coming to full circle. Back then, when Ada called over Sarada and Sumire and established the fact that she wanted to build a relationship and friendship with them and actually have a genuine connection, she was very disappointed in the fact that, yes, this is something that she wanted, but at the same time, unbeknownst to her that they are faking, they're still going to be in love with her. They still have no choice but to abide by whatever she says and to appeal to all of her desires and needs. So at the end of the day, that's very lonesome from Ada. So it's not just a relationship standpoint that she is seeking, right, romantically, but friendship, genuine connection, and bonds, trust, with others like-minded and others in her peer group. And she believes that the potential to find that within Sarada and Sumire was present, but her ability hinders that. Now, we come to find out, well, at least she comes to find out, wait, these hoes aren't actually affected by my abilities, so they've been playing me this entire time. A real roller coaster and train of mixed emotions, because deep down, we know Ada genuinely wanted this, but also, right, it's like, well, they've been lying to me all this time. Are they lying to me because they were scared? Or are they lying to me because they were plotting to kill me? That's something she can't figure out, right? But there's also something that she wants to figure out, in a sense where we see when Code was confessing his feelings. Ada was like, hey, Code, you might be telling the truth, honestly, gang, but the problem is, I can't tell if you are because of my ability. She would rather have to figure it out, basically understanding that you aren't affected by her ability and she just have to read your raw emotions. But because of her ability, she doesn't know what emotions are raw and what emotions are enchanted because of her love ability. And now we have them fully fledged talking about Boruto, the love that they have for the guy, all of Boruto's concerned feelings, and how he would be in a certain situation. And Ada's like, wait, you're not affected by my ability, aren't you? Because we wouldn't be able to have this conversation if you guys were. And if you remember 3 years ago, when Sumire reminded Sarada, when Ada asked these very same questions, they both went to the same answer. Yeah, Boruto's cool, but at the end of the day, right now, I can't get my mind off of you, Ada, right? So that should have been somewhere along the same lines today, yet everybody was Boruto this and Boruto that. Now, Daemon, being the thugged out G with the juice box and animal crackers that he is, takes a step off the wall and starts to get busy, you feel me? And we see the Mangekyo Sharingan and things are looking gritty. Now, Sarada actually activated her Mangekyo as Daemon began to lean off of the wall. Now, I've seen it in the fandom. Would I be mad at it? Why would I? In any scenario, any world, or any situation where Sarada comes out on top and destroys an enemy, why would I be angry? Now, the streets are saying it's possible we might get left eye Mangekyo Sharingan Sarada's ability, and that actually might be crazy. We've seen the emphasis on her left eye in this chapter. We still have some question marks and mystery gray areas in terms of Daemon's full abilities, capabilities, and if he is possibly hiding any other thing that he can do. We've only seen him throw hands in his reflection. We haven't seen any other powers or jutsus at Daemon's disposal. So they're still up in the air with that. But even with Sarada, the left eye ability, but not even just the left eye ability and what it could possibly be, hopefully something even more busted and connected to Ohirume. But what if, and this is a huge what if, she's taking up after her uncle, right? And her left eye is actually a broken, busted genjutsu. Or it can just simply be a Mangekyo Sharingan genjutsu. We know that Mangekyo Sharingan genjutsu in general is stronger than regular Sharingan genjutsu. But what if her special Mangekyo ability is a specific type of genjutsu, similar to the Tsukiyomi, similar to Shishui's bum-ass Koto Matsukami, and the infinite Tsukiyomi, right? A busted genjutsu that is basically unbreakable, that basically can't be defied by all logic, and there's probably only one way to get around it or defeat it, right? But what if Daemon is caught in this type of genjutsu? A genjutsu that once activated, there is no harmful intent, depending on the user, no ill intent, and no desire to inflict any type of long-lasting damage to your opponent, rather than just simply disrupt the brain waves, the chakra inside of the head, right? And to control the five senses of the user. So just putting them in a simple, nice dream, or allowing Daemon to think he's in a world where he grabs Sarada and Sumire by their necks and he's threatening them, right? And in reality, Daemon simply is still stuck up against the wall chilling, or maybe frozen in place. And everybody's like, what the hell is going on? And we know that's essentially how it happens when someone is trapped in a genjutsu. They're living out this reality in their mind, and the outside world is just looking at them like, why are they just standing right there in that same spot? Now, is it possible to make this work? Yes, I do believe it's possible. I believe that Ikimoto has free power and reign to do whatever he wants, as we've seen with her ability showcased with her right eye, with Sarada's Mangekyo. And if he wants her left eye to be busted, and on top of that to be a genjutsu, what better way than to showcase these abilities than against someone who reflects all intent and physical attacks whenever certain conditions are met. Now, when it comes to Daemon's intent, I've been under the guise, it hasn't been confirmed, but I've been under the guise of the belief that when he's looking at people, essentially his eye power allows him to read the intent of someone's mind. And if it's harmful, he can read it. And also if it's harmful, it's reflected back. Now we know that Amato explained his palms need to be touching someone to reflect all physical attacks. And then he goes on later to explain that his intent can be reflected too based off of certain conditions. Now, he never went into those certain conditions, but every time he reflected intent, he was looking dead at somebody's face. When the guy got his head chopped off, he was walking down the aisle and looking him straight in his eye. When Kabuki got smacked out of nowhere, he was looking Kabuki right in the face, and he told him, you know what I'm saying? like you want to try it if you can, you feel me? So I think there might be a little eye-to-eye contact, a little eye-to-eye combat. Think Sasuke versus Itachi beginning fights, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Daemon is essentially doing genjutsu himself, but Sarada's genjutsu might allow for a gateway or an escape hole, you know, in a world or a scenario where she can't necessarily think harm on the kid, and if he's touching someone, she can't physically attack him. But if somehow she's out of his line of sight, and this genjutsu allows that space and time to do so, and Daemon isn't looking at her, paying attention to her, she wouldn't be able to read her intent, and he can't touch nobody. Is that a gateway to attack this guy, Daemon? And even if she is a gateway, is it strong enough to take him down, right? But there can be possible ways to go around it. She can be trapping him in a genjutsu, and then next thing we know, we look at reality is nothing but black holes swarming around everybody, and everybody's floating around in the gravity-controlled center by Sarada, right? Too many broken possibilities, too many crazy possibilities. However, I still think that this is one of the two safest ways to go. The most realistic way, in the way that I believe it will go, is Ada calling off the entire shebang, but also a safe way, because for some reason people will still downplay either character if they decide to straight up box it out and one character loses to the other, because some reason people heavily overestimate Sarada and heavily underestimate Daemon, and I don't really get it, right? But with that being said, the second most realistic possibility is this being a whole entire genjutsu ploy, and like I said, dialogue will be very key and very important. So depending on what both of these characters say, if Daemon gives Sarada credit based off of her eyes ability, maybe the strength or the chakra he senses, then we could get some more information and knowledge based off of that. Or if Sarada basically has a condescending tone in response to Daemon, basically saying, you think you know all about the Uchiha? Let me show you the true power of my eyes, little nigga, right? It could be anything along those lines. But like I said, whichever way they go, I think Ikimoto is going to want to take the safe route, because both of these characters still got to box it out with Hidari and box it out with my guy Mamushi. So let me know how y'all feel about it. Potentially Sarada versus Daemon. Is this a broken, busted Mangekyo Sharingan Genjutsu? And if it is, what does that say for Sarada character? And what does that say for my guy Daemon's character? It's your boy Black Uchiha out there. Holla at your boy. I'ma holla at y'all. Black Uchiha out. Yes, sir. Ski.